Betty. Welcome to Lisbon Youth Center. I'm Leonor. I'm a youth worker that works here in this center. So what's the purpose of your visit? Why are you here with us and in Lisbon in this particular center?
So hello, thank you so much for having me, and actually thank you for having the whole team of the International Youth Center in 𝗫𝗫 here. We were actually very excited to visit you, and the actual purpose of our visit is a work visit. Like we do these kind of work visits in European youth centers to see how youth work is actually happening in different countries, because youth work in our country is kind of a new thing, and we would like to see some tips and tricks, some mechanisms of how youth work works in different countries and in more developed countries towards youth work.
Yeah, so what differences did you saw from the 3 days that we are here with us? So the youth work field here in Portugal and the youth work field in Bulgaria. What's the difference between those two?
Yes, so like we spent like 3 days, I think, already here in the youth center, and we had like this very broad program, like very diverse as well, with lots of guests, not only from the youth center but from other NGOs and networks. And the program actually started with your National Youth Plan and the presentation of the Portuguese Institute of Sports and Youth. And for me, it was very interesting that you have the youth councils that support the making of the youth policies in the country, which is amazing. And it's a thing that you have to appreciate and you have to care for, because we don't have anything like this in Bulgaria for now. Yeah, like we are kind of behind of the youth policies and these kind of things, because it's like this, but we are working towards it. It's interesting because in Bulgaria, for example, on a national level, the things are kind of low compared to your national level. Like you have it very good. We have national youth strategy, and that's all. And but on a local level, like from where I come from 𝗫𝗫, it's done how it should be done. Like we have, yes, and we had the pleasure to have a youth survey in the municipality in 𝗫𝗫 for the regional youth survey for the youth. Then they did local youth strategy, which was developed, and now the youth center is working under these documents that the municipality did, which is a thing that it should be like this everywhere, but unfortunately it's not like this.
Okay.
Yes, but we are working towards it.
Yeah, of course, don't worry. It's like baby steps.
Yes.
You will get there. It's still a new world in Bulgaria, like the youth work, but you will get there, baby steps. So don't worry.
Yes, and basically it was very important to me to see like the guests that we had during the work visit and the work meetings, because they were 𝗬𝗢𝗨𝗧𝗛𝗛. It was very interesting for us. It was a network for civil organizations, like NGOs, that works also with municipalities. And they do these trainings about youth policies on a local and regional level. So this was very interesting to see, and we are actually considering to apply to this.
Yeah, they have a very interesting work.
Yes, yes, and it's like, wow, like people do this. It was very nice to see, and it was very interesting to me to see that actually there's some Bulgarian NGOs that actually are a part of this network already. Like 2, but still, like only 2, but still they are there. Yes, and we had opportunity to meet some of the people working in the 𝗏𝗏𝗨 organization.
Okay, so it was a cool visit where you learn a lot of new things.
Yeah.
And you wide open to a lot of new different perspectives, and you make connections and some contacts.
Yes, yes. The networking of the work visits is very big part of the work visit. I think this is basically the main point, because youth work, like everywhere we go, like because we traveled a lot for the past year to see how it's happening, as I told you, in other countries.
You're making your own research, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And the networking is very important. And we met with a representative of the European Youth Forum, which showed us the mechanism of the European Youth Forum and the possibilities and the advantages of the projects that they provide there, which is amazing. I have heard of this, but I never really dig into it. And now that we dug into it, I actually have some ideas that I can apply and to implement in my city, which was again very useful.
That's amazing.
Yes, yes, it's very nice.
So that's it. You're making your research, and then you're gaining more knowledge. You're networking, and then you apply the things that you like learn. Right? That's amazing. Like you're already cooking some ideas in your mind for new projects coming and everything.
Yes, it's like this, and when you go to a work visit like this with very intense program and lots of things changing and happening, it's like it gets you very charged, like you're very motivated, and it's very important when you go back to keep this motivation, because when you go back to your reality and you have to switch the reality, you have to adapt the things that you have gained and learned, which is kind of a tricky thing to do. And
the implementation part. How can we work with the conditions that we have?
Yeah, exactly.
How can I make my idea into action?
Yeah,
right?
yeah, because when you do it, it seems so easy.
Yeah.
Like,
when it's like just theory, right? When you put it into practice, it's more difficult.
Yes, of course.
The transition.
Yes, of course it is.
And how about you, Betty? So your own path, can you tell us about that? Like, so how did you end up in this area, the youth work field?
Yeah, sure. So basically, I started as a volunteer.
Okay.
I think this is the path of every youth worker ever.
Yes.
Yes, I started as a volunteer when I was 17. I was just turning 18. And I started to work in this NGO that was working for the National Health Program. And I was working outreach. It was about prevention of tuberculosis.
Oh, wow.
Yes,
okay.
and then apparently I started to work there, and I was in the social sphere for quite some time. Then I started to study in university, and we have a non-formal education as a bachelor degree in Bulgaria. So I started to study non-formal education, and after this, because every summer we have these summer practices that you have to actually do some work to start to get to know the non-formal education. I applied for the European Solidarity Corps program for volunteering.
The Erasmus one.
Yeah,
right?
It's a European Solidarity Corps. And it was a long term, and I spent 6 months in Ukraine as a volunteer working in an NGO again. And I was a volunteer there, and I was a mentor to the newcomer volunteers, and I was working.
So you did the volunteer when?
Like 3 months before the war, I came back from Ukraine.
Oh yeah, I was going to ask you that, like if it was during the war, before 3 months before the war started.
I came back to Bulgaria.
Okay.
So it was exactly the year before the war started.
Okay.
Yeah, it was very interesting the situation there because of the thing that happened. And I was I was never thinking that something like this is gonna happen. And even my
it's very sad.
Yeah, So
that's why
I
it's
think-
important to work in the youth work field, because we believe that with the non-formal education we can actually make the world better, and working every single time with human rights, every single activity that we do as a center, and that you for sure is having human rights in mind, right? And trying to change people's perspective and mindset.
Yeah, of course, and it's about also connecting people, like connecting people from different realities, because like there is a lot of pressure around people
And
that
prejudice, like
Yeah.
we are all the same, we are all human beings.
Yes.
We don't care like the tone of your skin, your religion, your gender, your sexual orientation. We are all human beings, so
Yes, yeah. And I was also thinking that when you go out of your like cage, like when you go to a non-formal training and just a camp or whatsoever it is, like through these days you're going out of your cage and you're spending some time with people, and you start to appreciate people so much, because
Yes.
like you do living with people, not with stuff. You actually live with people, and you have to like support and respect and connect and
networking.
Yes.
Listen to people. What do they need? What does your community need?
Yes.
What are the issues? How can we help them?
Yeah. So the non-formal education, the non-formal trainings are very important to these sensitive topics as human rights, and to break up the barriers of some stereotypes or prejudice.
Yes.
Yes. So yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much,
No,
Betty.
no, thank you.
I hope that we see you pretty soon here again with us in the center in Lisbon.
I hope I see you in Pernik, actually.
Yes, I want to come and visit you.
Yes, you have
and
to
see what the ideas that you're cooking right now and how you're going to implement your project.
Yes, you're invited. All of you is invited. But first we have to build our youth center, because right now we are working like only in just one room in the city. We don't have like these beautiful...
So first thing first,
yes,
right?
Yes.
First
Baby
you have
steps.
the center building built,
Yes.
and then you come.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, thank you so much, Betty. Thank you.
Thank you.